Hey everyone, it's Flakfire. Battlefield 5 is a game packed with detail, whether it be small things like a character closing his eye while lining up the perfect shot, or huge things like the Narvik whale. There's plenty to catch your eye if you're looking hard enough, and that hasn't changed with the addition of a reimagined version of the classic Battlefield map, Wake Island. The new Wake Island map is twice the size of the original, but if you think that's the only surprise, you're missing out. For this video, let's check out 10 cool details you can find on the warm, sandy beaches of one of Battlefield's fan-favorite maps. For our first detail, let's board the American LSTs. These are the spawn points for the American forces during the game. If you look beyond the gray Higgins boats and the LVTs, you'll find the familiar red, white, and blue of the American flag. At first glance, something about it might seem just a little bit off. The stars are arranged symmetrically instead of staggered like they are today. However, that's not an error. There were only 48 states in the Union until 1959, when Alaska and Hawaii were added. Think of this detail as a bit of a consolation prize when it should be the Japanese forces attacking and the Americans defending the island. I assume this is due to production limitations, and I'm still happy to have Wake Island sooner rather than later. The second detail on our list can be found at Peacock Point. That's the elbow of Wake Island. It's a sight familiar to many Battlefield veterans. Facing the sea, you'll see a weathered memorial that reads, quote, "To those who fought here in 1942, BF2, 2142, 1943, BF3, and BF5. We are grateful," end quote. It's a poignant reminder that Wake Island is technically old enough to drive if it was a person, and a testament to the supportive community Battlefield has known over the years. Just below the memorial, you'll spot a friendly crustacean. It seems like an innocent bit of wildlife until you realize that crab is the start of an insane Easter egg hunt. It turns out this chum isn't the only crab on the island. There are several more, and you need to collect 5 others in order to start the next phase of the hunt. Now once you do, a gramophone and headphones appear, the latter of which must be taken to a wireless station on the island. This station then beeps out real-world geographical coordinates to reveal the location of a record. Bring it back to the gramophone and spin off the Battlefield 1942 theme. You then have to repeat this process for every other Battlefield game that featured Wake Island. However, the last record, that's something special. This time, you're treated to fireworks and crab dances straight out of Noisestorm's tune-turned meme, Crab Rave. This footage is courtesy of Danny on PC, and for a full tutorial, click the links here in the video description. Now, crabs aren't the only Easter eggs on Wake Island. Our fourth detail are the Snowmen. There are quite a few of these buildable fortifications scattered around the map, and they're in some pretty creative places. My favorite is the Snowman commanding a destroyed Sherman tank on the southwest side of the island. The snowmen do raise some questions, however. For example, who put them there? Where did they get the snow from? And how come they don't melt? Regardless, Wake Island isn't the only place you can find snowmen in Battlefield 5. They also make an appearance on Narvik and Fjell. Another cool Easter egg on Wake Island can be found in the barracks on Objective B. Inside one of the buildings, you'll spot large empty tables and some coconuts, and this all seems quite typical for a mess hall until you crack open all the coconuts inside. There are 5 of these in total, and once they've all been destroyed, you'll see a tabletop game appear at one of the tables. You'll even spot character sheets complete with names. Apparently, the Dungeon Master shares Battlefield's love of dinosaurs, and even has a bone to pick with one of the players. 6 on the list are the bunkers near the airfield. Many of these provide protection from bombs and gunfire, but others can almost guarantee your fate. The most southern bunkers contain huge bomb stockpiles, easily triggered by an explosive like a hand grenade, incendiaries, or anything larger than a pistol round. This is handy to know if you're attacking the bunker position in breakthrough or conquest. A well-placed rifle grenade could knock out an entire squad or more, so tread carefully if you're defending. And if the massive explosion doesn't kill you, it will certainly knock you off your feet, making you an easy target. Next, let's check in with one of our favorite gadgets for the Recon class. Throwing knives are a reliable one-hit kill at close range, and a constant source of quality meme material. Interestingly, in Battlefield 5's Pacific expansion, DICE actually added a special version of the weapon for the Japanese faction. It's called a kunai, and it's more than just a name change. The in-game model actually looks different. Historically, kunai were used by Japanese ninjas, though they weren't typically used as throwable weapons. Similarly, there are a few more details you can spot while driving around in the Japanese Kurogane scout car. If you pay close attention to the dashboard, you'll actually notice the speedometer works. Hang out in third-person view, and you'll see the convertible's top bounce up and down as you race across Wake Island. The vehicle's muffler also has its own suspension. Ninth, if you're in need of a resupply, try calling in a supply drop. You'll notice DICE actually designed new drop canisters for the Pacific expansion. Both the Americans and Japanese get their own faction-specific versions. Lastly, number 10 showcases a new marine creature prowling the reefs of Battlefield 5. You'll find a ferocious-looking lionfish on Wake Island. Coral reefs are a bit harder to come by on the new map, but if you swim from the American spawn to the western shore, you're likely to find the lionfish loafing around. Although venomous in real life, swimming with the prickly sea creature doesn't seem to have any adverse effects in Battlefield 5. As usual, since you've stuck around this long, I've got a few more bonus details to cover. If you look in the distance on Wake Island, you're likely to see Japanese aircraft bombing American ships. On occasion, you'll even see one crash into the water. It's a timeless trick DICE employs to make the map seem just a bit more alive, and it makes you feel like you're part of a massive conflict. Similarly, if you poke around Wake Island, you'll probably see plenty of defensive positions. Wood, of course, plays a huge role in their construction, and you can actually see a couple of areas of the island that were cleared to provide this material. Shovels and wheelbarrows also speak to hastily prepared defenses. Another cool detail is the riprap lining the island shores. This is designed to slow erosion and is a common sight on many island coasts. Of course, it doesn't do anything in a video game, but it's another nice touch to make the setting seem just a tad more believable. Lastly, the expansion that brought Wake Island back to Battlefield also added the Model 27 revolver. I love this gun, not only for its stopping power, but its cool animations. When you whip out the weapon, your character gives it a bit of a spin first, similar to the Howdah in Battlefield 1. And once empty, your character actually uses a speed reloader to make sure you're back in action quickly. That's all for this video on Wake Island details in Battlefield 5. Which was your favorite? Tell me in the video comments. If you think I missed something, please tell me there as well. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If not, leave a dislike. I also want to take a moment to say thanks for all the support on these kinds of videos. They are an absolute blast to make, and I'm glad others appreciate the little things. If you want to support the channel, sharing, subscribing, and turning on notifications are huge steps. Tuning in on social media is also tremendously helpful, and you'll find a link to all of those links down below in the video description. And as always, thanks for watching.